You're eating dinner. That's one activity. Apparently, this is now unacceptable. So the television goes on, or YouTube, or your phone comes out. Maybe you're watching television while looking at your phone. And if the show gets slow enough, you might start looking for something to watch while you're watching the thing you're already watching. And this is strange. You're already doing something. So why does the attention you're not using feel like attention you're wasting? None of these things is inherently a problem. Sometimes combining activities is genuinely useful, and folding laundry has done absolutely nothing to earn our undivided attention. But I'm interested in something slightly different. What happens when the second thing stops being a bonus and starts feeling necessary? When eating without watching something feels strangely incomplete? When a movie alone somehow isn't enough to prevent us from reaching for another screen? That's the part that I'm curious about. For demanding activities, doing two things often means switching between them, and those switches can make us slower or less accurate. Research on media multitasking has also found that splitting attention can make it harder to understand or remember what we're watching. But not every combination competes for our attention in the same way. Music while washing dishes isn't the same thing as answering messages during a conversation. Sometimes the second thing is competition, and sometimes the second thing is simply company, a voice in an empty room, something familiar playing while you eat. So let's not turn this into never listen to music while making spaghetti. Different activities demand different amounts of attention. The interesting part is not that two things are always worse than one. They aren't. And maybe that's why this doesn't always feel like a distraction. Sometimes it feels like efficiency. I'm walking anyway, why not learn something? I'm eating anyway, why not catch up on something? We're making good use of our time, and often we are. Look at those choices together. The walk was already happening, the meal was already happening. Nothing was empty, and yet some part of that moment still seemed available. What if we've gotten so good at using our time that unused attention has started to feel like wasted time? Of course, attention isn't a fuel gauge with a little unused percentage sitting there. I'm talking about the feeling that if part of a moment could hold something else, maybe it should. Imagine you're watching a movie you actually chose. No one assigned it. You wanted to see it. 20 minutes in, there's a quiet scene. Your hand reaches for the phone. Not because somebody messaged you. Not because you needed information. Did you open it simply because, for a few seconds, the thing you chose to watch wasn't enough? The movie is still playing. You haven't rejected it. You've simply added something else. Now part of your attention is over here, and part is over there. And perhaps neither thing quite has to carry the full weight of keeping you interested. One experience becomes the background for another. What if we aren't always adding stimulation because the first experience is bad? What if we've simply become accustomed to experiences having layers? That doesn't mean layering these things caused one activity to feel insufficient, but it gives us something we can test in our own experience. And there's a difference between choosing a second thing and discovering that you've already reached for it. So now ask yourself, did I decide I wanted this, or did I notice myself already doing it? Now remove the second thing, and what happens? Maybe absolutely nothing. Maybe dinner still tastes like dinner. Maybe the walk is boring. Maybe the movie really was terrible. We shouldn't romanticize doing one thing at a time any more than we should romanticize boredom. But perhaps you'll notice something else. The first activity suddenly has to be enough on its own. And maybe the second thing doesn't only give us something. Sometimes it takes something from the first. Maybe you barely noticed the meal. Maybe the walk becomes somewhere your body went while your attention was somewhere else. How much of an experience remains ours when we're only partly there for it? Again, as usual, it would be easy to blame the devices. They are certainly very good at offering us other things. But the television didn't reach for the phone. We did. Every time we add the second thing, we are participating too. The environment makes it easy, yes, but we help make it familiar. And that's worth saying because often we are choosing both because, well, we like both. The point is not to turn ordinary entertainment into a moral failure. It's to notice that I enjoy having this, and it quietly becomes, I don't quite know how to do this without it. And if you think of yourself as someone who's good at making use of every minute, would you notice when making use of every minute becomes something you couldn't stop doing? And recognizing the habit isn't the same thing as interrupting it. Some of you may be agreeing with the video while doing something else right now, which, to be fair, is extremely efficient. But agreement is not experiment. Noticing your own reach is. So here's today's extremely difficult Cateotu experiment. Pick one ordinary activity and make it easy. 5 minutes of a walk, or the first 10 minutes of a meal. We're not testing your willpower, we're just trying to make the habit visible. And if you feel yourself reaching for the second thing, wait 10 seconds. You can still turn it on. You're not trying to win. Just catch the moment before the habit completes itself. Do it because taking one thing away lets you notice what it is doing for you. What did you miss? The entertainment, the stimulation, the company, or simply the feeling that every bit of your attention was being used? There's no correct answer. You're just waiting for that little feeling. This needs something else. And when that arrives, ask yourself, why? We have extraordinary access to entertainment, information, music, conversation, and distraction. That's not something I particularly want to give up, and maybe nothing is wrong with adding another thing. But every once in a while, it might be worth noticing why we wanted it. Not every time, just occasionally. Because perhaps attention isn't something we should always try to use more efficiently. Sometimes, the thing we're already doing deserves our full attention, if only because it's part of the life we're actually living. So what's going on? Are we all lined up, kinda, more or less? Well, my friends, please tell us in the comments, what's the one activity you almost never do anymore without adding something else? And if you want to keep looking for the footprints of the behavioral threshold monster with us, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out here in this small outpost. Until next time, this has been Cateotu, your host for Universe 26, the channel at the end of the universe.